Hey everybody, it's the Chris and Des Show. I'm Chris,
And I'm Des.
and today we're going to talk to you about the new internet sensation. It's all over the place, Tiger King, and we're going to talk about the first few episodes. Des has watched the first three episodes, right? I
Yes.
finished it, but it is all over the place. It's on
It's everywhere. That
everywhere.
is the truth.
Everyone's talking about. And since we're at home, we're FaceTiming. Since we're all quarantined up, uh, keeping our social distance, we figured most of you are probably at home watching Netflix also because that's what we're all doing, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some things on Netflix. So, Tiger King. Des, what did you think?
Okay, so when it comes to reality TV shows, I tend to enjoy the ones that, the cooking shows, the Great American Bake Off, the Great British Bake Off. I love that show. Amazing Race. I love that
Good
show.
one. Good one.
I love those reality things that, you know, are competitive and friendly and fun. Uh, when I watch shows like American Idol, at the beginning of American Idol, and they're just making fun of these people, that is not enjoyable to me. And that's what I feel the Tiger King is bringing up in me in
Yep.
this. It feels kind of mean to be taking these people and putting them up on a pedestal a little bit. And I mean, I guess it's kind of a documentary thing to do. I mean, to like they did with Grey Gardens, they
Yeah.
just, they make a documentary about them, and then these people become glorified a little bit. And I just, I will say, it is compelling television. You cannot argue with that. I mean, the guy who is making this documentary, he's good because he puts a good cliffhanger at the end, and it really makes you want to start the next episode to know what is going on. And I probably will finish it to know because I am interested now in what is going to happen, what's happening to these people, and it doesn't help that I feel like everybody else on the planet knows the answer already.
Right.
Everybody knows what's going on, and I don't. I want to finish it and know, but there's something in my gut that is like, oh, I don't. These people, I just feel so bad for them, and they don't seem right. Like there's something off,
Oh, yeah.
right? What did you think?
Yeah. I feel similar. I like some weirder stuff. I would say than Des, just in general. I like weirder stuff.
Yeah, I don't
But
like the weird
and
things.
so I like documentaries like this, and we were talking before. Like I watched Don't F with Cats, which has a similar feel, but the people in it aren't. I wouldn't say aren't as weird. They're trying to do something good. The guy who they're trying to catch is gone, but it's a really good show, and we'll hopefully if Des watches that, we'll talk about that one too. But this one, you're right, Des. It is kind of weird to be like, okay, sometimes it's comical. It is 100% compelling. You're like, what the heck is
Yeah,
happening? It's like a train wreck that you're like, I shouldn't be watching this. Turn away, and I can't turn away. And you're like, what's happening? Um, and especially even, I was thinking, I mean, Joe Exotic, right? This guy who is this Lion King guy. First of all, he calls himself Joe Exotic. So what are you gonna do there? He has multiple husbands, and then this other guy has multiple girls and his thing, and
yeah.
it's like I don't know. And then Carol may or may not have fed her husband to tigers, and so we don't know what's
We don't know.
happening.
We don't know. That
As
could have happened.
as you do naturally, this is common
Of
things that occur.
course.
Um, I it really you do sit back and you're like, okay, wait, are no one in this movie is actually stable mentally, probably. We are in some type of
Exactly.
category of like, these people should probably getting help. That is probably what is happening. And so, in a way, I can see what Des says. Like, are we making fun of them or glorifying this thing of like, look how crazy they are, like making money off of how crazy they are in a sense? Um, and is that good or bad? Is 100% good entertainment. That we can't argue. It's
Yeah.
entertaining for sure. We're all watching it. Everybody's watching it.
Yeah.
And so it is really compelling, like Des said in that fact, like, okay, I'm watching. Oh boy, I'm watching. What's happening? What's going on? Uh, so I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the series. I finished it, and I I knew my sister. I texted this. I knew my sister would love it too, and I had texted like, "Hey, are you gonna watch?" Like, finished it yesterday. I'm like, "Okay, she's done." Because it is totally that way, and everyone's watching it, and I think the opinions are so all over. Like we were saying too, like some people are like, "This is too crazy. I can't watch it." Some people are like, "I loved it. I've already watched it again." I'm like, "Okay," and some people are like, "Should we be watching it?" And there's all these different camps for
Yeah.
sure, but it is compelling. You will watch it and you will be like, oh my, hooked into. I can see why everyone's watching this because you're kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And we kind of got into it. I was telling Des like, watch this because it's the pop culture right now. It is growing into something big. And Des is right. We're all home, right? Netflix is up like 60% streaming, and Disney Plus is up crazy too, because we're all just home watching Netflix, and it's the show on Netflix to watch. Uh, so I enjoyed it. I have the same reservations Des has about like I don't know how much I should say like I love this show because it is kind of like a train wreck in a sense too, and as it goes on, it just gets more into like is everything okay? And you start to I will say the first episode the guy who's making it, whoever makes the documentary of it is doing a really great job because the first episode you're like oh wow this is kind of crazy the fact that you have tigers, and at the end of it it kind of delves into like oh wait no maybe it's not just crazy they have tigers like maybe he is also like not all there and then maybe Carol is not all there and you actually don't like it sets it up to where you don't there's no good guy per se in this show. You're like is Carol good? I don't know if she's good. Is
Right.
Joe Exotic good? Like and there's times when they all seem like actually maybe he is trying to help these tigers or whatever and maybe she is trying to help these tigers or actually maybe neither one of them is trying to help anybody except themselves.
That's what I really think. That they're both in it for the money.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
as the as the because the whole thing came about because of this like murder for hire issue that is occurring,
Right.
and so as that starts to unfold in more episodes, you're like, what is happening? Who and you really don't know at the end of it you don't know who did what and who was blackmailing or framing who and how and the scary thing is this is not a script that someone wrote. This is these are real life people and I'm sure it's scripted and edited to look a certain way of course as reality tends to be, but these are real people who we really don't know what happened to this lady's husband. This isn't like oh, that's a cool episode. Like, no, there's a real man who is, we don't know where, and this other real man who maybe tried to do something, and this lady who tried to do something, this guy, and the police haven't been able to do anything about it, really.
And then at the end of the episode where they talk about all the drama of her husband, like the third one, the one I just finished, if you let it play through the credits, they play the song that Joe Exotic wrote about her killing her husband. He has a good voice.
Okay, thank you. I was going to tell you that I was surprised. Like he can really sing. Actually,
yes, he has a really good voice.
He should have gone into singing instead of
done something else.
tigering.
That's for sure.
He should have not started his gay cult, and he should have been a singer instead.
It's a good song. It's like melodically
Yeah.
and like the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
well written. It's a well written song.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah. And what's really, this guy who made it, I wish we got to figure out who it was because he really is really doing a great job because as I forgot about this, as you go further into it, every character he interviews in the first one, you're like, oh, okay, well that guy, like, oh, he has a really small part in the first episode, like maybe he's nobody, and he comes back and you're like, oh, that's why he included him in the documentary because of this thing, like, oh, and that's why he was included. Like, oh shoot, because things really unravel. And I will say, there's a glaring part, and it's not till I think the second to last episode of the song where the mental health issues, like something happens, and you're like, okay, we really need to take into account like someone here obviously was not mentally healthy. Like, let's try to get somebody some help here because something happens. Anyways, I don't want to spoil it, but
No spoilers.
no spoilers. But anyway, I would say watch Tiger King just so you can have a conversation with every other person who's watching Tiger King. That's for
Who's
sure.
watched it already?
Right, who's already watched it. If you haven't already watched it, let us know what you think. If you've already watched it, or hey, I'm interested, or let us know some other recommendations of Netflix shows or things to watch too. I would recommend The Gentleman, which is you can buy on Apple TV. I think it's going to be able to rent sometime in April, and it's on Netflix DVD, which Jess has too.
Oh yeah.
So good. I was blown away by how good it was. And so we'll keep watching stuff and sharing it with you and letting you know what we think. Okay.
Happy quarantining, everybody.
Happy quarantine. Bye.
Bye.